Hello and welcome back aboard the M56 Scorpion here in War Thunder and in an arcade battle, and this might surprise you. This is not just a quick, I guess, tank review after I did also a tank preview. Nothing in particular changed from the dev server, but the overall performance of this vehicle surprised the hell out of me in arcade. And I want to tell you exactly why it surprised me. Now, first of all, let's have a look at the non-existing armor. And we can see it's not even safe for machine gun fire. Especially there are some holes in between the gun shield and the chassis. And also the interior is not very nice. I did it all in the tank preview, to which you will find a link into the video description, or in the video description rather. Now I want to show you this battle here on Kuban because it were the perfect conditions for an arcade battle in this vehicle. You might ask why. Well, basically I have a lot of room to maneuver. I have a lot of possibilities to work ridge lines, and this vehicle is fantastic at working ridge lines. The gun is high, you have 10 degrees of gun depression, you have a fantastic American 90mm, and yes, this gun for this tank is on point. You have a good reload speed, you have hard-hitting ammunition, and after unlocking the first APHE shell, the trusty M82 APHE shell, you don't need anything else. I don't feel the necessity for the heat shells, because the heat shells would be necessary if you take on heavy tanks from the front. If you do this, you're doing it wrong, at least in this tank. I could basically describe this tank in a short summary as a kind of different Super Hellcat. And basically the mobility, let's talk about the mobility. You have an insane mobility for a stock vehicle. The only limiting factor the only limiting factors are that the top speed is limited to 50 kilometers an hour here in arcade battles, and also the overall maneuverability at first is really wobbly. So that means maneuvering in tight areas or in close quarters is really difficult. I do not recommend it. Now, this battle was played when this tank was not even fully upgraded. I have none of the mobility upgrades, and I just have none of the accuracy upgrades, I believe. Now, let's talk about the ammunition. And the stock shell that you get is the M332 shot, which is an APCR shell with 271mm of penetration. This is kind of the standard amount of penetration for APCR throughout the nations except the British, and well, it's not good. End of story. But for the playstyle required, it might do the job. But it's not the desired shell. It's this one, the M82 APCBC APHE shell. It features 137 grams of high explosive filling, and while it just packs around 170mm of penetration, at this battle rating or around the battle rating, you will find hardly any tank that can withstand this shell from the side. Now this scene with the plane I will talk. The next shell type is the M431 shell, which is an heat FS shell with 320mm of penetration. And this might be an argument for people that say that this tank is overpowered. It's not. Everything can kill this tank when it stands in front of you, even with the machine gun. Every AAA, every tier 1 tank can kill this tank. So it's literally a glass cannon. 320mm of penetration on a heat FS shell, and all the ammunition types combined, I'm not mentioning the the HE shell here, that is basically the cannon of the M48 Pattern 3. And the reload rates are literally basically the same. You have, for a silver crew in my current configuration, a reload rate of 7.92 seconds, whereas for the M48 I have 8.16 seconds. And for the Ace crew or the Gold crew, you have 7.5 second reload for the M56 Scorpion and 7.7 seconds for the Pattern 3. Now that is a really good reload, and as you could see, I have a lot of room to maneuver. But, you know, I don't feel the need for the heat. I don't feel... Yeah, okay. I really don't, because I need to go and flank the enemy. I have to relocate basically after every shot, except if the enemy is blind, like here. Or they are cornered or preoccupied with other teammates. And you could see, I looked at the minimap all the time. Look at where I am on the minimap. I am deep into enemy territory, basically behind enemy lines. And the Kuban map, with where one cap circle is on one edge of the map, is ideal hunting territory for this tank. Yes, there are numerous other tanks that could basically do the same. But with this tank, this is necessary. You're not doing well in close quarters. You're not doing well with in urban environments, so to speak. But watch this scene. I wait for him, I laid an ambush, take out his gunner and commander. I realized it. I have plenty of time to reload, pre-aim, and just... Well, this kill was literally gifted to me. Now this tank, let's talk about the survivability. And that's a bug with the gun breach. The survivability is pathetic. It's the worst ever. Like, one heavy machine gun bullet can literally take out this tank. It kills the driver and then a second crew member. And as long as you don't have crew replenishment, you are doomed to die. Also, aircraft. Every aircraft can do heavy damage on this tank. Artillery strikes are extremely dangerous, as when they hit on the rear of the tank, the ammo rack is open, the fuel tanks aren't protected, and you know, the crew is as well not protected. This tank mustn't get hit by anything. If you get hit and you don't take any damage, it was because something over-penetrated and it didn't shrapnel. That's the only explanation that I could give you if you survive, or you're extremely lucky, or I don't know. Do I like this tank? Well, surprisingly, yes. I thought this tank would be a pain to play in arcade. In fact, because of the reason that it does have such a hard-hitting APHE shell from the side, that is, and again an aircraft. Look at the damage mod. This guy was really too stupid to aim. That's the only explanation that I survived. The APHE shell is really good. It has enough penetration to deal with basically every opponent from the side that you will ever meet. And those which you can't deal with, try to avoid it. You have a good reverse gear, you have good acceleration, even stock. You have a decent top speed of 50 kilometers an hour. I wish it would be more, but it doesn't matter. I have no idea where this shell went. So the accuracy, yeah, the accuracy of the gun is surprisingly good for a stock gun. In my opinion, it's even better at long range than, for example, the Conqueror's gun. That's really surprising. And when you upgrade this tank, it just will get better, except from the top speed, sadly. If this vehicle would have a top speed of 60 kilometers an hour or even higher, it would be extremely good for my, you know, light vehicles playstyle. And yes, I have different playstyle for different vehicles, because it came from the criticism when I talked to other people and they said, oh my, you have no idea how to play it and you just play arcade. It doesn't matter. A tank is good or it's not good. And yes, they can perform differently between the game modes. And I haven't tried the M56 in a realistic, but you know, I expect good things from it. The basic things are there. The basic ingredients for a good tank in its own category are there. You have a hard-hitting, fast-firing gun with the right ammunition. You have really good mobility. The only real downsides are the bad gun handling. The gun traverse speed is pathetically low, even in arcade. So close quarters are not advertised. And let's have a quick look at the post-battle results screens. I had nearly 50,000 silver lines and a bit over 4,000 research points. Yeah, and I want to talk you through the upgrades that you need for this tank. So let's talk quickly through the upgrades. First of all, you should research the M82 shot. and the horizontal drive. After that, you should go for the either parts and fire prevention system or the adjustment of fire. After that, you unlock the tier 3 upgrades, and then you should go for the heat shell. It gives you simply the option to deal with everything. Elevation mechanism further increases the accuracy of the gun in conjunction with the heat shell. This is very good for long range sniping, which I guess is this tank's, yeah, meta. Crew replenishment system, maybe, but I would further increase in the close quarters mobility. Speaking of researching the suspension, which is really important on this tank. Also, the tracks give you more maneuverability, I guess. Then also the brake system. You need to come to a halt. You just have 29 shells. You need to make them count. Good aiming is really necessary. Those three mobility upgrades for the increased engine performance are not that important. Also, they're extremely expensive, at least the tier 4 ones compared to the other tier 1 to 3 ones. And if you want to research them, begin with the engine, as it just gives you double the horsepowers for the same research points as the transmission. That's it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you like this style of video with all the tips and tricks and, judging, not fully upgraded tanks. Anyways, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and see you on the battlefields of War Thunder.